Alright, everyone, welcome back to another Watch and Talk here, Automotive Anatomy. So, today, just want to share a couple stories. Um, First and foremost, I hope you guys are doing well. Hope everything's going well in your personal life, or at least you're trying to make the best of it, because I know, we're all dealing with challenges and they're all different. Um, and so maybe, I guess, more, not necessarily more important, but bigger to you, obviously. Um, and what I mean by that is, I in this point of my life, I have no problems. It's kind of crazy. Now, granted, I am also actively trying not to have problems. And what I mean by that is with people, I don't get into, fights with anybody. I don't try to argue. I don't try to put my beliefs on anybody else. So that I think that decreases opportunities. At work, I very respectful with, everyone. And I think that it's working out. I mean, I just go do my work, do my job, cool, and say my piece, and that's it, and continue, right? Um, I am okay with bills because I'm driving this older car now. I've actually been talking to my wife about potentially getting a new car, like potentially getting the M3, the new M3, not the new M3, but like the second generation. I am considering getting a newer car. Um, I don't know. The bug has kind of been kicking in, but it's not something that I'm like dying to go and I don't really. It's not something that I'm like actively looking and feeling bad or no. I'm also not actively feeling bad driving my old Conquerors. It's not like, I've heard some people that drove older cars and they felt some type of way, like they were just maybe not embarrassed or maybe just they were unhappy with them. I legit like my old cars. I think they're somewhat clean for with the year that they are, and I enjoy them. Um, so like I said, I don't have problems. I don't have major life crisis, and so I'm actively trying to keep it that way. Obviously, there's gonna be a lot of things that it's gonna come up that we don't have control over. Health and accidents and things of that nature. And I hope that I can be um, mentally, physically, and financially prepared for those as much as you can. So Theodore Roosevelt once said, and I'm just saying that because I read off Google. I wasn't there if he said it. Comparison is the thief of joy, and that's it, man. I mean, that's the biggest topic that I wanted to discuss today. Comparison is the biggest thief of joy because as I'm sitting today, actually today's my day off from work, and you know, I actually watched the car the same day that I'm doing the voiceover. I was listening to music. I had just come back from a walk with Chubbs. Um, and I was listening to Tony Robbins on my walk and just thinking about the luxuries that I do have and the luxuries of me just being able to wash my car, the luxuries of being able to share with you guys some of my life experiences and memories and thoughts, and and being able to connect with some of you guys from across the country, across the world. And so that's something that I'm very very happy with what's going on in my life. And I sit back and think about some of the stuff that goes through my feed on Instagram, some of the people that I follow, um, and it's crazy. It's crazy because my feed really most of the time is sports, motivational things, and cars. Main three things that pop up in my feed. Um, Once in a while, houses or things like that will pop up. The algorithm. But honestly, I don't. Every time I see something that comes up, news or something that people wanna like, I just fight or negativity. I don't recommend this channel. I just don't recommend this to my feed. Not interested. Um, and I think I've been able to fight the whole idea of comparison up to this point in a very nice way. Um, I must admit there was a time that I was like, man, I'm putting in work. How come the YouTube channel is not growing? And I quickly, it's almost like the algorithm knows, like, chillax, we're gonna send you some info. And sure enough, I ended up reading a podcast about Gary Vee and and my lab and then the minimalists, and they all surrounded that whole entire idea of like, why do you want more subscribers? Why do you want more money? And as I mentioned before, money's a great tool. I'm not allergic to it, but the idea that that's the reason why I would want the channel to grow, right? The channel I would want it to grow, so maybe it creates more revenue, maybe for my ego. I don't know. As I started thinking, I used to think that way. I've definitely scaled back on that. And today I was listening to something that Tony Robbins was mentioning, and the reality why a lot of people are having a hard time is because, depression, as he mentioned it. Depression is really easy to understand why someone's depressed. It's because their blueprint or where they should be does not match the reality. And I was like, huh, interesting. So what he means is, if your blueprint, the idea, the plans that you have, says that you should have, let's just use you, automotive anatomy, I should have 500,000 subscribers right now, and the reality is that you're not there, that means that you're what, not successful. That's the idea, right? You're comparing yourself to other people because numbers are something that you can compare. The higher the number, for the most part, is the better, except if it's dead. um, but even then, you got the Grant Cardones, you got the Robert, I can't pronounce his last name, who want more debt, more leverage, and they don't pay taxes, and they get to buy more stuff, and et cetera, et cetera. But the thing is that the idea is that there's always something to compare yourself to. And so for me, I was like, okay, I was listening, on this walk, and I was like, okay, I think going back all the way, just as an elementary, middle, high schooler, comparison was always big for me. And the reason what I mean is, um, I think I lacked a lot of self confidence growing up. I I wanted to prove that I could be part of a group, part of something. Um, I know that financially we didn't have the luxuries that other people did, so I wasn't that kid. I remember I had a friend in middle school who, I mean, wasn't in shape, so he wasn't the good looking kid, but this kid brought like brand new kicks every other day, and he, like, they're expensive shoes, like Nikes and then Converse. And back then it was the Chucks, the All Stars. It was common to wear a whole bunch of different color ones. And this guy would just, like, legit, I think he went to the Swami wherever he bought them. Like, he just bought every single color. So almost every day, he would just match shorts or jeans, and then the color shirt with the color shoes. Like, this dude had every yellow, bright green. He had it. And I remember thinking, like, damn, that must be cool, like, I wish I could do that, sports, some I've always liked sports, but I was never the fastest, I was never the strongest. I can pull my weight, but I was never the athlete, the athlete, the one that already has big old biceps in middle school. And I remember a couple of those kids, and they were like, yeah, man, my dad got me into sports, my dad, has me weight training, my dad has me, blah blah blah. And I was like, damn, well, I don't. My stepdad, really, he kind of just saw from afar. He's not into sports. His life is all about work, 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 and so I didn't have that. I didn't have that. So I would always kind of think, like, damn, like, how can I put myself in a better situation? How can I put myself in a better, and sometimes I think that led to negative moments. And what I mean by this is, in high school, um, I wanted to be the class clown, and I'm sure that got me into trouble quite a bit of times. I'm sure I said things that were disrespectful to other people, trying to be funny, And I think it goes back to that, like, that self-esteem issue, the lack of, it's okay, dude. You don't have to be the center of attention. And so me wanting to get attention in other ways, I guess I was comparing myself to other people, um, because other people got attention in a different manner. Again, if they were the athlete, they were the one, wearing the fancy stuff, blah blah blah. Now as an adult, now I see it completely different. Now it's crazy because I've had a couple, you know, experiences where I legitimate don't really care for the attention. And I know it sounds very ironic as I'm doing a voiceover on a YouTube channel with myself all over the camera, but um, now I'm at a point where, like, I legitimate don't need the attention, don't need the validation. I don't need that from others. And not to say that people that do are bad. I'm just saying, like, man, like, I feel like that just messes with their ego, it messes with the self-esteem. If you constantly have to show somebody like, look what I just bought, look what I just, I'm like, and maybe that's where it comes from, that it bugs me, when I see people do that, when they flash cash or the new car part and things like that. And again, it's not to say that they're bad, they're mean people, they're wrong. I think it's from my experience, right? We all come from more experience, and maybe they had similar experiences like me, and now that they can afford it, now it's like, look, I can show it. Or maybe they've always been like that, right? They've always been that kid that financially they never had to worry about anything, so that's just normal for them. And maybe they do it with the bad intentions, maybe they do it with the good intentions. I mean, ultimately, it doesn't matter. I think what really matters is the way you interpret those things and the way you go about it. And what I mean by that is, you know, recent, not so recent, there was this individual who's, going through some family challenges, and they did a GoFundMe for him. They created a GoFundMe, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't contribute to GoFundMe, unless I know the person on a very personal level and their character. And that sounds really stupid because you're thinking, well, dude, if you wanna give let me explain what I mean. I am very simple guy. The beanie that I'm wearing, I think I've had it for like 6 years. I just found it again when I was taking out a lot of clutter, and I found it. I was like, oh, look, it's been there. Let me use it. The shirt that I have is a black shirt, cost $11, and it's the same brand as the other ones, and it's just plain black. I wanted to see if, I really like the shirt, so I'm like, okay, cool, $11. The shorts, I think I bought them at Ross a very long time, or if not the Goodwill. I can't remember, but it was a long time ago. At least a year, 2 years. And you guys obviously see me all the time with freaking shorts. Well, um, that's just how I do, And then the shoes that I'm wearing, some Nikes. My father-in-law just came in one day and said like, "Hey, I found these ones. Do you want them?" I was like, "Sure." So I put them on. It's like the third pair he finds, and he gives them to me. And the socks were given to me by a coworker. And then the headphones, well, I've had them for, I don't know, 6 months. I'm pretty bad with technology. And then my old phone, I think, is my iPhone 7, I think. And that's the one that my wife, supposedly it was overheating. And I was like, just give me that one, get the iPhone 12 or whatever the hell she got. And it's been working. I'm like, dude, you just want a new phone. She's like, no, it used to overheat. I'm like, it does everything that it needs to do, at least for my needs, right? Anyways, I don't know if we add up my quote unquote, drip or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, man. I mean, look at me. I am not the fanciest of dudes, and I drive 90s Accord. Now, how does this relate to the GoFundMe? I told my wife, like, man, like, I am that type of person that I don't I don't like to ask for help. I don't want to ask for help. If I can do it myself, let me do it myself. With specific things. Money is one of them. Um, Look, I don't care how you spend your money. I really don't. I could give two. If you buy a brand new car and your wife has a brand new car and you have everything. What I do have a concern with is when things get rough. The first thing that we do is do a GoFundMe. Well, hold on. Let me. This entire time we've been flashing parts. We've been flashing, um, money. I don't know why people have the idea that that's something that they want to do on social media. They do, whatever. But then the same people are the ones that are, I need help. Well, sell the stuff that you have. Sell your car parts. What happened to the cash that you had? Like, get rid of it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. And it frustrates me because there are days that people that flash these wonderful fancy things or vacations, they get to me. I'm like, damn, man, like, when is it gonna be my turn? But then accidents happen like this, and the first thing is like, oh, we need help. It's like, well, what do you mean? Why don't you do the old school way? Go start a car wash. Somebody passed away. We were doing a car wash to fund money. Oh, I'm down with that. Even if you leave my car with throws, I leave my cars with throws. Well, we're gonna have a kermesse, or we're gonna sell food because so and so passed away. I'm down with that because that's. It seems like that's just the very first thing we like to do. Let me show off this fancy life that I have, and then when things get rough, let me put myself in a situation where I can just get money from others. Come on, man. And if this is you, I'm sorry. Like feel free to comment on the section. Be like, well, you don't understand. Explain it to me. Give me your point of view. I'm not saying that you're right or that you're wrong. I'm just saying this is the way I see it. The way I see it is, I've been trying to be diligent with my money, be responsible, um, and that's why I'm watching these '90s Accord, and I'm not watching a freaking brand new Porsche, because I want to make sure that I'm putting myself in a good place, again, mentally, physically. Well, I don't know about physically. I need to start. I've been working out, guys, but I've been gaining weight. I don't know how that works. I guess I eat a little bit more as I start lifting weights. But I swear, I've been lifting weights, I've been stretching. My back doesn't hurt, the back of my knees do not hurt. So thank you all that gave those suggestions. So yeah, man, that's the reason why, like, as I'm on my walk in the morning, I'm just thinking, like, I don't want to hear anything about politics. I don't want to hear about religion. I don't want to hear about, mandates. I don't want to hear about any of that stuff. And I want to hear something positive. I don't care what social media has to offer on a day-to-day basis. I think for the most part it's negative. I think for the most part we're in a society where we're so quick to just show the highlights of our lives, man. And in the return, like, other people are feeling bad. I mean, you could say, well, that's not my problem. No, you're right. It's not your problem. But I feel like there has to be more to that. For me, it's like when they look up my page on Instagram, like, what is it what is it that I would want to see, right? Do they want to see some dude that's always flashing these fancy things, or do they want to see some dude that's like motivating? I had one of my buddies, and I didn't take it so negative, but I did, I was thinking, like, damn, like, okay, I guess we see things different. Um, Very passive aggressive comments here and there, I'm just like, I'm just gonna keep my distance. And but I've been like a punching bag, because I'm like, what, I'm respectful because he's helped me out a lot, and I'm just kind of like, trying to not be, because I can be a smartass, I can be very smart, I can be very sarcastic, as you can tell, and I can take it, man. If you get me good, I'm gonna get you back, type of, in a not joking manner, and so that's why I'm trying to, like I'm telling you guys, I try to stay away from people and arguing things like that. But there was one thing that he did mention, and it was you think people care about your little quotes? You think people care about your little positive quotes on Instagram? You think they actually go and do it? And I said, I don't know, man, but do you think people really care about your flexes on Instagram? And obviously, the conversation stopped. And when I try to, comment something positive, the return was, I didn't think you care about my flexes. I don't know, I was just saying, I hope the food was good, but I guess he took it too hard. Look, I don't know if people are following the suggestions, which, I don't know if they're suggestions, they're just quotes that I look up on the internet, or things that I come across. I don't know if they're following it. Mostly I do it for me, though. And ultimately, I wouldn't want them to have this image of Gus, the dude that flashes cash, or the dude that, shows off every, quote unquote highlight of his life. I would want them to think, like, man, this dude's always putting something positive. Is it cheesy? Is it boring? No problem. Feel free to unsubscribe, feel free to unfollow. No one is, forcing anybody to consume something, right? That's the bottom line. That's just not my personality. You want to continue to flex every day, Monday through Sunday. I don't care. But you're not gonna get my attention, because I see that and I run away from that. I see people that love to be recognized and to be, and I run away from that. And that's why the circle is very small. If the people I hang out with, the people that I really, really trust, it's extremely small for that same reason. I'll talk to a lot of people, but I don't necessarily agree with, all of their choices. And so that's the reason, I stay in my lane. I do what I have to do. I know that, by me saying these things, it sounds irrational. It sounds like, hey, like, well, us never gets into emergency situation, because I'm gonna replay this when he does a GoFundMe. I told my wife, like, hey, like, if something happens to me, don't do a GoFundMe. Sell freaking food, do a car wash, and sell all the stuff I have. I don't care if somebody comes and rips you off. Well, I don't know how much things cost. Dude, just ask around, say, hey, how much would you give me? And if they take the M7s for $1,000 or 500, let them. They know what they're doing. Whatever. You sell the stuff. Whatever helps you. Now, I must say, I've been actively making sure that we have a little bit of a cushion financially. I'm very frugal, guys. I don't make much, but trust me, I definitely have to manage it appropriately. And we have. Not to say that if I don't get an emergency, we're not going to be in a tight budget. Shoot, I don't know if I'll be needing a GoFundMe myself, to be honest with you guys. But you can assure this, I'm going to sell all my stuff before that's my first step. I'll sell Jackie if I have to. I always joke, like, man, I don't want nobody driving this car. When I die, I want her to get a crush. Dude, but if in real life is just, dude, I'll tell anybody, give me $3,000. I need them. Here, take it. Give me $2,000. I don't care. I really wouldn't care if it's an emergency. If it's a true emergency, I wouldn't care. Right? And so that's kind of the idea that I was just kind of just walking and thinking, like, damn, like, can't be comparing myself to anybody else, because nobody really in this life really shows exactly how they're feeling or how they're doing, especially in social media. But I'm trying to be as transparent with you guys. My life is great right now. We make it complicated. My wife loves to travel, and we haven't been doing that as much. Why? Because I'm like, nope, we gotta save money. Why? I don't know. Just gotta save money. The problem is that she sees her feed is a lot of traveling, right? She can care less about cars. She can care less about purses. She doesn't like, fancy clothes. She doesn't care about fancy dinners. Her only thing is, I want to travel. And I keep telling her, like, hey, like, for where you and I come from, we've done a lot of traveling. We've traveled more than a whole family combined. Don't forget that you and I are still having to meet some goals that we have for ourselves. You and I don't go to vacations on a credit card. That's just not what we do. The vacation doesn't follow us home. Is that stupid? Sure. Is that, financially not being smart? You can leverage it? Sure. Whatever. I don't care the way anybody else runs their business. I want to run my business that way, right? So last year we went to Chicago, went to Seattle, we went to Portland, we went to New Orleans, we went to Mexico City, we went to TJ, San Diego, and New York. None of those vacations follow us home. You better believe that I wasn't doing all these stories everywhere I went. The only reason people know where I was is because my wife tagged me and I just reposted it. But I'm at the point in my life where I'm not like the high school kid anymore, where I need to have the attention. Buy the brand new shoes and have them be all white, or be the funny guy because I'm not the athletic guy. I don't need that, man. And so I think my life has gotten so much better since I don't compare myself to other people. But I'm watching. I try not to watch as much on Instagram. I try to use it as a tool. If I come across a car that I really like, let me hit up the owner. But there's times that I catch myself just kind of scrolling, and I'm like, what am I doing? Of course you're going to want a freaking new Porsche when, you're looking at videos about Porsches. Are you there yet? Because as far as I know, you're still having to look for parking on the street, Mr. Gus. So how can you be thinking about a brand new Porsche when you don't even have a house? It's like all these different things that I talk to myself about. I'm like, all right, it'll come to me. And again, I always tell my wife, I can die tomorrow. And some people may say, man, that guy did not get to live. No, I have plenty to be thankful for. I've had so many good experiences. And by experience doesn't mean that they require money. It doesn't mean that they require, fancy places. Dude, experience is just me walking. Almost every Sunday I'm with my mom. I don't I don't need to be forced to be with my mom, but I choose to go there. Sure, sometimes we argue, sometimes we don't. But it's almost like, where are we going on Sunday with my mom? It's not a thing that it's a chore. It's just, yeah, we're gonna go. We're gonna enjoy her food. A little bit of her, conversation. Sometimes they're different than mine, and and she says things that I may not agree with, and so on and forth. But to me, that's success. For me, I'm very successful. Look, I'm washing my car on my day off. I'm doing a voiceover on my day off. But you guys better believe it that if I do get into some, scary emergency situation, I'm gonna go get another job. And by the way, I'm not prideful. I'll go get a cleaning job. I have a master's degree, but I don't care. I'll go get a cleaning job. Again, I'm not, my self-esteem is not, it's good. I don't have nothing to prove to anybody but myself and my family. And by my family, I mean my wife, actually. And she knows it. That's what she's like. No, I get you. Like, when we quit our jobs, it's more than a year now. I applied to a whole bunch of cleaning jobs, and I was about to start working, but I got hired at this other spot, and so okay. And so that's what she's like. Yeah, I know. You'll do everything that it takes to take care of us. Like, yeah. And let me she works too. She puts in the work as well, and so I admire her for that. And so that's the idea, right? That's why we don't travel as much as we should, or we could, I guess you should say that. That's why I'm driving 90s buckets, because there has to be more to life than that. But yeah, I'm trying not to compare myself to people. I'm trying to kind of make sure that whatever they show on their feed, it reminds me like, hey, the car's pretty, but maybe the payment as well. Hey, the vacation's pretty, but maybe they're on credit cards. It's not my time. It's not my time. It's just about, paying it forward, and really just taking the time to do things that really, really actually provide value to you. Maybe that means just going on a walk with your son or your daughter or your mom or your significant other. That's what it is. If it's just cleaning your car and you can't get new parts, no worries. It'll come to you. Just take your time. Again, nobody is showing the true reality on social media, on Instagram. Don't let it get to you. Comparison is the thief of joy. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys the mad love, and yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Yeah, definitely appreciate the love and the support. Peace out.